Good morning to sirs and madams of Emertxe Information Technologies. I am Pallavi from Manchiryal, Telangana district. I am studying BTech third year in ECE branch at Vagdevi College of Engineering, Bolikunta, Warangal, Telangana district. I am fortunate to do this internship on embedded system at Emertxe Institute. By this internship, I have learned many new things about software, hardware, and project implementation. And I done my car black box project as alone by listening to recorded classes multiple times. These recorded classes helped me a lot. Project mentor Rajani madam explained all the topics in detail about the embedded system, microcontrollers, and car black box project implementation. Today I would like to give my presentation about what I have learned in this internship, and I would like to show my project demo at the end. First of all, coming to C language, C is a high level and general purpose programming language that is ideal for developing firmware or portable applications. C language is powerful, efficient, flexible, and deep. We can explore our systems. C language is used in system software development, embedded software development, operating system kernel development, firmware, middleware, and driver development, file system development, and many more. C important characteristics are: it is general purpose language even though it is applied and used effectively in various specific domains. It is a free formatted language and not a strongly typed language. Efficiency and portability are more important considerations. Library facilities play an important role. C keywords are data type, modifiers, qualifiers, loops, jump, decision, storage class, derived, user defined, and others. Typical C code contains documentation, preprocessor statements, global declaration, the main code, one or many functions, the function body. We use conditional constructs and operators, arrays, pointers, and functions, recursion constant, qualifiers, and strings, storage classes, and preprocessors in C languages. We have data representation in C language by the number system. A number is generally represented as decimal, octal, hexadecimal, and binary. Data representation may be in bit. Literally, computer understand only two states, high and low, making it a binary system. These states are coded as 1 or 0, called binary digits. Binary digit gave birth to the word bit. Bit is known as a basic unit of information in computer and digital communication. Data representation may be in bytes. A unit of digital information commonly consists of 8 bits, considered smallest addressable unit of memory in computer. The basic data types are integral, floating point. Coming to integral, character and integer are integrals. Floating points are float and double. Data type modifiers and qualifiers are: coming to modifiers, size and signness. Qualifiers are constant and volatile. We have conditional constructs in C, single iteration and multi-iteration. Single iteration consists if else if else. Condition statement constructs. Switch cases. Multi-iteration consists for loop, while, do while. Operators. Symbol that instructs the compiler to perform specific arithmetic or logical operations on operands. All C operators do two things: operates on its operands, return a value. In arithmetic operators, we have multiplication, division, modulo, addition, and subtraction. And logical. Coming to logical, we have logical not, logical and logical or. We have relational operators like greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. And bitwise operators perform operations on bits. The operand type shall be integral. Return type is integral value. In bitwise, we have bitwise and bitwise OR and bitwise XOR and bitwise complement, right shift and left shift. We have over and underflow in C. 8-bit integral types can hold certain range of values. Arrays. Point to be noted. An array is a collection of data of same data type. Addresses are sequential. First element with lowest address and last element with highest address. Indexing starts from 0 and should end at array size 1. Example, say array 5, we have to be indexed from 0 to 4. Pointers. Why should we use pointers? To have C as a low level language being a high level language, returning more than one value from a function to achieve similar results as of pass by value. Parameters passing mechanism in function by passing the reference. This is a pointers example C code. So pointer is an integer, but remember that they may not be the same size. Pointers pointing to a variable equal to pointers containing the address of variable. Rule is pointing means containing. So, as a summary, the type of pointers does not say its type, but the type of data is pointing to. So, the size of pointers for different types remains the same. Rule: pointer value of null or 0 equal to null adder or null. Pointer is pointing to nothing. We have functions in C language. An activity that is natural to or the purpose of a person or thing. A relation or expression involving one or more variables or functions. Generally, it can have 3 parameters like input, operation, output. We use functions for reusability, divide and conquer, modularity, modifiability, debug and test. In functions we have parameters passing types, pass by value and pass by reference. We have recursive function. Recursion is a process of repeating items in a self-similar way. In programming, a function calling itself is called recursive function. String, contiguous sequence of character, easily stored ASCII and its extensions. End of string is marked with a special character, the null character /0. \0 is implicit in string enclosed with double quote. String initializations. Example, we use character array. Some of the examples are shown in this slide. And coming to storage classes, the storage classes are auto, register, static, local, static, global, extern. We have processors in C. Processor nothing but we have header files, source files. A header file is a file containing C declaration and macro definitions to be shared between several source files. Has to be included using C preprocessor directive #include. Header files serve two purposes. Declare the interface to part of the operating system by supplying the definition and declaration you need to invoke system call and libraries. Your own header file contains declaration for interface between the source file of your program. In preprocessors, we have header file versus source file. There is a syntax of header files and source files. And coming to introduction of microcontrollers, the contents of microcontrollers are introduction to embedded system, introduction to microcontroller, embedded programming, communication protocol. And microcontroller, an integrated circuit which is capable of being programmed to perform a specific task. Microcontroller is a single chip which contains memory size of input output capabilities peripheral functions etc. Microprocessor versus microcontroller, all separate components. We have all separate components in microprocessor. More flexible, more design complexity. All components in single chip, less flexibility, less design complexity in microcontrollers. How we can choose microcontroller? Based on application, performance, price, availability of tools, special capabilities. Embedded system contents are introduction to embedded system, GPS versus ES. GPS is nothing but general purpose system versus embedded system, real time aspects. So what is the definition of embedded system? We say that any combination of hardware and software which is intended to do a specific task can be called as embedded system. These are some of the examples of embedded system. Embedded system categories are stand-alone, real-time, networked, and mobile. This is a block diagram of embedded system. The components involved in this are software, microcontroller, system SOS, system on chip, memory, FPGA, human interfaces, ADC, DAC, actuators, sensors, auxiliary systems. The requirements of embedded system are reliability, cost effectiveness, low power consumption, efficient usage of processing, power efficient usage of memory. Embedded system challenges: efficient input embedded on operating system, code optimization, testing and debugging. Trends in development: processors, memory, operating system, programming language, development tools. Common design metrics: time to prototype power, performance and correctness, size, NRE, maintainability, and flexibility, safety, unit cost. Real-time aspects are hard real-time, film real-time, soft real-time. The important terms of microcontroller are host, target, application, cross-compiler. So coming to project implementation of car black box, we use PIC 16F 877A microcontroller, and we use PICSIM lab architecture. In this PICSIM lab architecture, we have GPIO, general purpose input output, I2C, it is a communication protocol like real time control, and EEPROM memory, LM35 temperature sensor, analog to digital converter, RS232, LEDs, buzzer, digital keypad, SSDs, matrix keypad, CLCD, characterized liquid crystal display. A port is interface between microcontroller and external peripheral. LED is an external device connected to microcontroller port. Based on controller architecture, we will have a number of ports. The target controller in PIC Genius board is PIC 16F877A from Microchip. By reading the datasheet, we come to know that there are 5 ports. From schematic, we come to know the LEDs are connected to port B and port D. From the section of port B, it is clear that there is one more register associated with it named press B. That press B register is very important for I/O configuration. The value put in this register would decide pin direction as shown in this slide. The target controller as mentioned is by Microchip. So we will be using XE8 free version compiler. We use MP-LabX IDE for the project software implementation. That is shown in this slide. It is a PICSIM lab board. So it is a template code consists of main.c and main.h. Main.c is a source file, main.h is a header file. These are the interfaces: LEDs, digital keypad, interrupts, timers, clock, input output, SSDs, CLCD, matrix keypad, analog input. In this program we implemented the programs for the LED, digital keypad, interrupt, timer, in timer we see the timer 0, prescaler, Timer 2. ADC single channel detection program and program to CLCD communication modes, 8-bit driver code, and at last I2C protocol. Then later we start implementing the project. Interrupts. We have interrupts in microcontroller in programming. Basic concepts we see: interrupt source, interrupt classification, interrupt handling. An interrupt is a communication process set up in a microprocessor or microcontroller in which an internal and external devices request the micro MPU to stop the processing. The MPU acknowledges the request, attends to request, go back to processing where it was interrupted. Interrupts classification. Interrupts. We have two types of interrupts: hardware and software. Coming to hardware, non-maskable, maskable. In-maskable, external and internal. Interrupts. Service routine, ISR. Similar to subroutine, attends to the request of an interrupting source, clears the interrupt flag, should save register contents that may be affected by the code in the ISR. When an interrupt occurs, the MPU microprocessor unit completes the instruction being executed, disables global interrupt enable, places the address from the program counter on the stack written from interrupt. Coming to timers. Timers instructions are resolution register with tick, up count or down count, quantum, system clock setting, scaling, pre or post scaling. There are modes: counters, pulse width modulation or pulse generator, pulse width or pulse position measurement, etc. In timers, examples as requirement 5 pulses of 8 microseconds, resolution is 8 bit, quantum is 1 microsecond. In general, interfaces are like CLCD. CLCD abbreviates characterizer liquid crystal display. Most commonly used display ASCII characteristic. Some customization in symbol possible communication modes. Modes are 8-bit mode, 4-bit mode. Analog inputs introduction. Types of ADCs. Analog to digital converters are flash ADC, pipelined, SAR, successive approximation register type, dual scope, sigma delta. In analog inputs, there are acquisition time and conversion time. Data storage. Mostly used in every embedded system. The size and component memory of storage depends upon the requirements. Modern controllers have built-in data storage, EEPROM, data flash, etc. Coming to communication, we use I2C circuits. I2C abbreviates inter-integrated circuit. The introduction of I2C is synchronous half-duplex multi-master slave. The bus features two-line interface, software addressable multi-master with CD, serial 8-bit oriented bidirectional with 4 modes on chip filtering. There are protocols or example signals a complete data transfer. Example We have data and clock lines, microcontroller, LCD driver, EEPROM, RTC, temperature sensor, ADC, microcontroller B. The data and clocks are transfers the data by the clock timings between these blocks. In signals, two wide interfaces are there, SDA and SCL. Serial data, serial clock. Signals, condition and data validity. It represents the data write, data read conditions in the serial clock and serial data transmission. I2C protocol bus speed. Bus speed is bidirectional bus. Standard mode. Standard mode is 100 kilobytes per second. Fast mode 400 kilobytes per second fast. Mode plus 1 megabits per second. High speed mode 3.4 megabits per second. Unidirectional bus uses push pull drivers, no pull ups. Ultra fast mode 5 megabits per second. So coming to car black box project code, this is my car black box project code. First of all, we are seeing the car black box def.c. It is a source file. We are using three files in this car black box project code, like car black box definition.c, car black box definition.h, here we are seeing the car black box definition.h file. Next, it's main.h file, and at last it is main.c file. We are using 4 files to implement this car black box project. So now let's see the project execution and output. So now open the MPLAB X IDE. Then we have to choose our project. We are viewing the header file, important file, linker file, source file, libraries and loadabilities. In header files, we have adc.h, car black box definition.h, clcd digital keypad.h, ds1307, i2c main.h, timers.h. And if we see source file, it contains adc.c, car black box definition.c, clcd.c, keypad.c, ds1307.c, i2c.c, isr main.c and timers.c. By using these files, we are implementing the car black box project. We have 4 files. Those are main.c, main.h, car black box definition.c, car black box definition.h. So I have typed my code. Now let's build the project. My project is built successfully. Now let's go to the Pixim lab. Let's select the file, loadex, this. From the MPLabX projects, we have to choose car blackbox.x, distribute, default, production, car blackbox, hex file. We have to open it and reload last. Here in this we have gears, and this button we have kept it for collision. So by clicking it, we can see C on the display. We are viewing the time, event, speed. So by clicking it, collision is displayed on at event. So now we will click on this. It's showing GN, gear neutral. Next, reverse gear. Next, we will adjust this potentiometer as speed. We will see that there is a variation in speed. Now let's see the events recorded in this. So now we have to enter the password. My password is 2525. We are viewing the view log, clear log, and change password. First of all, we have to view our log. Select it. It's showing the time that is recorded when events are done. When collision occurred, it's recorded the event. Next event. Total 5 events it is recorded. So if we enter wrong password, then it shows there is a wrong password and 2 attempts are remained. So again I am viewing the wrong password. Now I am giving the right password. Now I am seeing the next clear log. Select it. Logs cleared successfully. Now let's change the password. Select it. We have to enter new password. I am entering the new password 5555. Next we have to re-enter the new password. If we enter wrong password as 2222, it shows password change failed. Now Let's make right password. Then it shows password changed successfully. So by this we can view logs like events, we can clear the events and we can change the events that is recorded in this car black box. Thank you.